I was 20 when I broke my back, and I was snowboarding, and it was immediate, and I knew it. But I was young and I was fit and I loved the mountains and I loved being outdoors, and I happened to be a machinist. Being paralyzed, I believe this, that you're 100% reliant on technology. So items were the things that were going to allow me to get back to these places that I love. So the first attempts to get outside were just putting knobby mountain bike tires on a wheelchair, and that would get me out of the parking lot and 100 yards in, and then the front wheels would dig in. So then I made a little thing to make the front end bigger, and that would get me a little further. Every foot further I could go was something new. It was really just incrementally solving the problems while having fun the whole time. It was a prototype in the truest sense. We hooked up a rope to the front and a little push handle on the back so they could push. But a big difference for Lindsay was she steered this, and that's not insignificant, because Lindsay would often have been pushed around and taken to the places that someone thought she wanted to go. I was stuck at the bottom of the mountain because she was in the very bike that she was in, the only one that existed. And she came back about 4 hours later and she said to her mom, that was the best day of my life. And that's when the penny really dropped for me. And I was like, I can't just make this for myself. Like this, I have to make this for everyone. I had a full-time job doing other things, so the development was slow. It was a slow-paced development. And then when my wife was pregnant, I thought, like, I'm gonna have a child that if we go out to a park, I don't want to say like, you can't go there, dad can't go there. When we're with dad, we stay on the trail. Or I wanted to be able to go, to follow them. And it broke my heart to think that I would be a limiting factor to that. So that's really when the reach got pushed development-wise, so that I could rely on this thing to go where he would want to go. And now I've got a little daughter, and to go where she wants to go, and them not think, well, this isn't somewhere for dad. Everywhere's for dad. And I spent years and years racing a wheelchair, like in a racing chair, doing marathons. And you're in a position where you're leaned over and you're sort of staring at the ground. And I traveled all around the world racing. I saw the same yellow lines in Japan as I saw it in Boston, as I saw in Alaska or in Australia, like, because you're staring at these yellow lines on the road. And I thought, do I want my outdoor experience to be staring at the ground? And I didn't. I wanted to stare at the trees and the mountains and the rivers and the sun. The other way that I experienced those things were with friends and family. And it was difficult to talk to them because I'd always be trying to look up at them, and it wasn't as easy to have these sort of interactions with them. So in the Bowhead Reach position, you're able to sit and talk and stare at the sun and stare at the creeks and stare at the trees and have that experience. Well, still, frankly, you're on the most capable bike for the adaptive crowd as you could possibly be. Nothing touches this. What truly makes the Reach unique and that nothing else has is that articulation up front. And that's what makes this work. That's what makes it be able to cruise down a mountain trail on corners doing 30 miles an hour. But it's also what makes it safe on a city street for someone with cerebral palsy or who's older or just wants a safe way to get around. It allows them to have one wheel up on a curb and one wheel down and not tip over. The Bowhead is amazing on sand. It's amazing on city bike paths. It's amazing at dog parks. I use it every morning during the school year, I've got a bike trailer for mine, and my son and the two neighbor boys, all three of them hop on the trailer with their bike helmets on, and I drive them to school. The very thing that makes it extreme and capable is what makes it safe. The person on the bike behind us, they're in like an aggressive biking position because we're mountain biking. We're flying through the woods, and he's on the front hanging onto the handlebars, and he's steering, and we're having a very able-bodied experience. There's nothing disabled about that picture or the way that we spend time in nature together.